Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving holiday. And for those of you that have already put up reviews on Amazon on Who is Santa, greatly appreciated. Thank you. All right. As we can see, we were starting to run out of steam here over the last week or so. A lot of dojis. And it looks like they're not able to get to a new high, which means now the best we can hope for, if they open lower tomorrow, is a wedge formation going sideways. But that would imply that we're going to have some downside over the on the near term. The only strength in the market was the fact that the NASDAQ did come right back down to the T-line and bounce up from there. So we still have to go in one main criteria, which is we haven't seen a close below the T-line on the NASDAQ. However, it did do a left-right combo, so that's kind of a some weakness. And if this left-right combo is occurring before we get to, I hate that thing, before we get to that high, that tells us they've given up and there's going to be some more downside. Other things like crude oil has been in this downtrend. Downtrending channel, and then we did a evening star left-right combo. It traded up today, but then traded lower. If it starts trading lower tomorrow, you probably want to be going short. With the anticipation, they're bringing it down, back down into the $40, $41 area. Santa Claus left town. Yeah. Yeah, I had so much fun. I had to send out 200 Santa Claus books this weekend. And dealing with the Postal Service is just I won't go into it. Now the dollar has been continuing to act strong. And this steady eddy move to the upside, which means the euro, which we're short right now, is maintaining the steady downtrend. So we're still short the euro. Wheat. It looks like it's in a bearish J-hook pattern. There's your doji sandwich. There's a possibility that this is the after hours trading right now. Possibility of more downside, so you have a bearish J-hook pattern, which would logically bring you at least back down to this area, which is getting close to right now. Okay. Yeah, we don't usually pay too much attention to the futures this early in the evening, because remember, it's another 12 hours away before we see any see what investor sentiment really is. And I don't know what, that's what you're saying. Yeah, maybe not a Santa Claus rally this year. Let's see. Wheat is in whoops, that's not what I want to do. In a downtrend where soybeans looks like it's doing a nice little fry pan bottom off the support level right here. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying soybeans. And some of the other ones that we're keeping an eye on, lean hogs, now looking at the Februaries, also may be in that bearish J-hook pattern. So this one can be shorted on weakness tomorrow. And gold, gold just has not gotten started ever since this kicker type signal failing at the 200. You stay short on gold until you see a buy signal and a close above the T line. Yes, coffee. We closed out coffee today early in the day. Because it basically did kind of a flutter kicker signal to the downside, telling us they weren't going up through the 50. Now we've got to kind of assume that this trend channel, and again, trend channel, whoops, let's do this again. One of the tools we have is the trend channel, where if you can kind of draw a line here and the parallel line here, you pretty much see what the trend channel is. And when they start up and fail in the trend channel, it tells you there's probably enough strength to bring it back down through that support level and definitely put you into a bearish J-hook pattern. Let's see. Oh, but do you realize tomorrow is December 1st already? All right. Okay, so some of the stocks that we're following, the nice thing about candlesticks is it tells you when the chart looks good and when the chart looks bad. So anytime we see a situation, and this was actually more of a kind of a flutter kicker, but it still was a hanging man failure. And then they opened it lower today. That told us they weren't taking this back up. They were taking it down. This one should have been closed out today. Oh, that's right. It is the first in Australia. All right. Some of the other ones that were kind of testy today. RLYP spent most of the day down big time, which made it a very lousy looking chart if they had closed it below the T-line. The fact that they brought it back up above the T-line still tells us our uptrend still has potential. And that was the case with a lot of the biotech drug type companies today. They sold off and then they started coming back up. We also recommended AVXL today based upon this little Morningstar signal right off the T-line. It gapped up and traded up higher and then closed near the low end of the day or trading range on the day. This one we bought during the day, so it's lower obviously. And what we're going to be looking at tomorrow is this better open positive and trade positive to stay in it. If it opens lower, what do we got going on? Kind of got that bobble. So if it opens lower, we close it out and then wait to see if it pulls back to the T-line. So this is one of those instances that I always had to fight through for years, was seeing something look very good, getting into it, and then seeing it disappear, the strength disappear, and having to say, oh man, that was such a good one with so much potential, but now I've got to close it out because it's not doing what it's supposed to. So if it opens lower, we close it out. Worst case scenario is it turns around and comes back up through the 50, we can always buy it back. But the probabilities will say if they open up lower, they're probably coming back to test the T-line. How do you endure a day like RLYP without panicking? Very simple. During the day, when it's down here, down here, down here, what do we know about the trend? We know the trend is up in the uptrend. We know that it's not actually a sell signal because they didn't open it above the previous day's open. And if it closed down here, it's just a bad day in an uptrend, but bad enough to say, all right, we don't want to be in it anymore. But What do we know about buying the signals? Basically, we're buying when we see a candlestick daily buy signal, and we're selling when we see a candlestick daily sell signal. So if it's trading down here, it's already down pretty big, and we anticipated it was going to be in an uptrend. So what's the worst case scenario? Unless they decided they're going out of business and they're just crashing, I just wait to the end of the day to see what the end of the day results. Now, what does a day like this kind of illustrate? For all we know, an institution had been long and decided they were going to sell out, and they sold out most of the day, and when their selling was done, the buyer stepped back in again. So that's why I always wait to the end of the day, because if it was down here at 10:30 in the morning, it's already down pretty big. More than likely, oh, it isn't it? Well, even if it's a bearish engulfing signal, I don't know. Is it a bearish engulfing signal? But the fact that they closed above the T line still makes it a still in an uptrend. Okay, so anyways, Mario, that's how I sit through. I wait to see what it does by the end of the day, because it's already, if it's down big, it's already down big. I'm going to just see now what it does by the end of the day. Now, had this closed down here, yeah, I'd probably closed out the position. So there were other ones like PACB that looked ugly most of the day, but started coming back up at the end of the day. And what do we still have? We still have our 45 degree in progress. We haven't closed below the T line. We'll get to Bidoo, but I'll look at Bidoo right now. Wild close for Bidoo. Yep, looks like it. This is another case where there you close back up above the T line. You're still in an uptrend until you see a close back below the T line. Oh, let's see. I've got Taco up here for some reason. Oh, here's another one that's done the potential of a flutter kicker. Gap up today. Notice they had a dark day yesterday or Friday. Then they gapped it up. Makes this one very simple. If it opens positive tomorrow, what do we have? Potentially a flutter kicker signal. And what does a flutter kicker signal illustrate? Very strong reversal. Basically, if they open up positive after a doji, which way is it going to go? It's probably going to go positive. And then if we took out the little doji, that flutter, we've got a kicker signal, one of your strongest signals. WABA, also into a wave 3. I'm measuring that this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and there's our slow curve breakout through the resistance level, wave 3. This gives me a good impression, or calculation anyways, that if this moved up approximately 15 points, 15 points from here could take you up into the, what is 15 points, 70 or $67 range, up in that area. Okay, as a few that were looking good today. FLDM, there's your nice big fry pan bottom. There's a big gap area up here. That tells me if this starts breaking out, we should come back up to fill that gap, or basically almost get a double on your price. No, just a positive open, Brett. Remember, the important factors of a price move in candlesticks is where it closed and where it opens. The trading range is the wick. We're just interested in what their initial decision is and what their final decision is during the day. So there's a nice fry pan bottom setting up that if they break this out, especially if you draw a line right down through this trend area, we're getting close to that, and there's still some good room in the stochastics. This is a type that you can break out pretty fast because of that fry pan bottom. All right, I guess AMBA is reporting their earnings here in the next few days. Another fry pan bottom. I noticed a little doji sandwich that we had today, making the 200-day moving average our next likely target, and there's a gap to fill up here. Could be a target. John saying, I've heard that institutional investors often sell stocks into the end of the year for tax purposes. Will that show up mostly in volume indicators or also in candlesticks? That'll still show up in candlesticks. But remember, if it's a good year, they're going to, well, if it's a good year, they're not going to take profits in this year. They'd rather take profits in going into the next year, so they can move those gains out into that year. It's when you have a bad year that you start seeing them sell near the end of the year because they want to take the tax losses or the losses for this year. So far, market really hasn't been great, but it hasn't been bad for the year. So I don't think you're going to see too much tax selling at the end of the year. Vince, nice little fry pan bottom breakout. You can be a buyer of this one. And KERX, same scenario. These are the ones you want to watch, that if they open positive, meaning just a positive open tomorrow, and that's also going to be a function of how the market opens up. If we wake up tomorrow and the pre-market futures are showing the Dow's going to open up down 80 points or greater, you probably don't want to jump into anything just yet. But if the Dow looks like it's going to open up 45 points tomorrow, and a stock like this is opening higher, yeah, you probably want to be ready to buy pretty early or pretty fast, meaning within the first few minutes. Omar, kind of a big fry pan bottom. You stay long on this one. And you can still be buying this one with the anticipation you're going to the 200-day moving average. SGMO, another nice little fry pan bottom breaking out. And if it opens positive tomorrow, what's it telling you? That this area right here is not acting as a resistance anymore. Now you go to toward your next resistance, which would be the 200-day moving average. Another same scenario on Maxwell. Closed right here at the top. Very simple. If they open this positive tomorrow, coming out of this fry pan bottom, it's telling us that this level is not acting as resistance. You can be buying immediately. APIC. Did a doji day today after an inverted hammer, and now you've stayed up above the T-line. Makes this very simple. If this opens positive tomorrow, you can be buying because you know at least your first target is the 20. Second target is back up to the 50-day moving average. What do you do if a stock opens positive, but then soon after it goes down? I will still hold on to it because that told me there were buyers after the buy signal. And then I go into my rest of my exit criteria. If it closes, if I see a buy signal and it opens positive, and then after it opened positive, it closes more than halfway down the candle that told me the bulls were in control, yeah, close out the position. And if it's a big candle or a good size reversal signal, and they have enough strength to take it all the way back down below the open of that candle, I get out there because if it's a reversal, the sellers shouldn't have enough strength still to take it back down below the open of the previous day. All right, thank you, Don. APX earnings tomorrow, okay? APX, APIC. This one's got a nice chart to it. Notice that it did open positive today and then close back down on the 200. Makes this very simple. If they open this positive anywhere above today's close, you can be buying. Or if it's chopping around, if it comes back up through today's open, it's telling us the fry pan bottom is working and the 200-day moving average is not acting as resistance. That's another, back to Elsie's question. If I see something like this, where it opens positive, breaking out, telling me it's time to buy, in the first 30 seconds, the first minute and a half, I see it trading off a little bit, I'll just hold off, but then I'll watch it. If it comes back up through the open, I know the initial profit taking's over, and they're taking it back up. If they never come back up through this level and doing something like this, I know that wasn't time to be buying. So when I say buy on positive trading, yeah, once it opens up, you don't have to jump in that very second. I usually give it a minute or two to see what they're doing with it from there. AMKR did close near the high end of the range above this level, telling me there's a good prospect that this bobble is over and wave 3 is in progress. Allison, that's true that some of them could be buyout targets, but since I have no idea what most of them do, or most of us don't have any idea what they do, all we can see is what other people are reacting from as far as their own research or their own knowledge of what might be going on with that company. And that's going to be illustrated in the chart pattern. There's usually not any major surprises. Probably 80% of the time or better, you see buyers coming in before a major announcement. This symbol is LXU. This one, as you can see, after a full 2-3 weeks of flat trading, now they've made a decision. And the decision is something that you want to watch, because where would our next target be? Back up to where it gapped down, which would kind of equate to the 50, meaning you could get a pretty close to an 80% move on this one. Aren't you always going to be down somewhat when you first buy because of market movement? Aren't you always going to be down? No. There'll be times, sometimes, where you buy on positive trading and it immediately starts moving up. STRP, notice they did bring it up, did pull it back, halfway point of this candle, but they couldn't close it below the T-line. Had this opened and closed below the T-line today, if you were long, you got out of it. Right now, after that indecisive trading and positive open or positive trading, just giving us a simple piece of information. They aren't closing it back below the T-line. What was that? STRP. POZN. Observe the obvious. This is what we call the classic. Fry pan bottom, price move. J-hook pattern. Get ready for the next price move, at least back up to the 200-day moving average because of the J-hook pattern. Kang, look for a 45-degree off of here. There was something else in here that I wanted to illustrate, but I forget what it was. Just to find how to do. NPTN. There's your fry pan bottom J-hook pattern. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on Positive Trading, anticipating wave 3 would be in progress. And VNet. Notice what was happening. It had kind of a fry pan bottom. This is where the whipsaw usually takes effect. Notice they did a belt hold. Then they did a second belt hold. What did that tell you? Every time they tried to sell it off, the bulls stepped right back in. Now they've gotten a lot of the bears out of the way. I would suspect we're in wave 3 here. Wave 1, wave 2. Now your whipsaw actions where it's trading down and up, down and up. This one you can be buying. Not really a doji sandwich. Yeah, that's just kind of a fry pan bottom. STX, you can see what's happened here. Kind of flat trading, and now they've done a doji gap up, your best friend. This one you want to be buying on Positive Trading because next likely target is up here to the 50-day moving average. And rock, another nice fry pan bottom J-hook pattern. Kind of your fry pan bottom classic. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on Positive Trading tomorrow, with the anticipation that if they break out through this level, that this type of move should be in progress. HOLI, there's your bobble. In this case, they failed at the 50 or at the 200. There's your bearish belt hold. Took it back down. There's your Morningstar scoop type pattern. And what type of? This was actually more of a doji on Friday. So what do we have going on here? We've got our McMuffin in progress. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying. If you're aggressive, you buy on a positive open tomorrow. If you're a little bit more conservative, you wait until they get up through the 200-day moving average. Okay, some that looked good on the short side. Under Armour. You can see the trend. You can see the trend channel. You got pretty much two parallel lines. Now you have a left-right combo, and it seems to be the 20 is acting as a stronger indicator. And this is one of the reasons why you want to see what happens previously. See which moving average or which trend line has been acting as a resistance level in the past. Sometimes it's a 20, sometimes it's a 50, sometimes it's a 200. But you just see what everybody else is watching. And right here at the 20, what do we see? We saw them fail with a doji, fail with another day, and failed another doji, then a bearish left-right combo. And what confirms a signal? How they open it the next day. They gap this one down. That tells me my next likely target is somewhere down in this range, the bottom of that trend channel. CAR, we recommended a short a few days ago. Started with the kicker signal, but then there was your left-right combo right here at the T line. And notice every time they opened it positive, right at the T line, and immediately failed. Retailers got weak, yeah, pretty quick. They were acting strong. They were in an uptrend. Then I guess now eBay, that's still a strong looking chart. That's got a nice J-hook pattern to it. QURE, there's that kicker type signal to the downside. wouldn't be too adverse to shorting this one on weakness. Notice what started the downtrend. The bigger the signal, the more compelling there's been a change of investor sentiment. And Lulu, same scenario. Where did this fail? Right here at this resistance level. Let's see. And that's where you observe the obvious. What happens when you get to a resistance level? You see what type of signal you have. In this case, another doji showed up with bearish confirmation and the gap down. Where's our next target? At the bottom of the trend, which looks something like this. So I'd suspect your target is down here somewhere. Oops, that was Lulu. What was the other one? Let's see. Oh, no. OVAS. There's your slow curve. Ready to close right here at this last support level. If it opens lower, where you think your next target's going to be. See if they bring it back down here to the low at this area, giving you probably about a 15% move to the downside. Urban Outfitters, bearish J-hook, bearish engulfing failure. There's your first target. There's your potential move on wave 3 to the downside. And COLM, another one that kind of showed us that they failed up here. They're still in this downtrending channel. I'd suspect this one's coming down into this area, wherever that may be. And Dillard's, bearish J-hook pattern, another one that wouldn't be afraid to be shorting at this point. And for some reason, I've got this one. Oh, this one's kind of, oh, don't do that. Kind of illustrate the fact that when you have this trend, you're right there at that level. Whoops. Or you broke through that level. But now you're in a double bottom type situation. Next target is up here toward the 200. Were all the retailers down? Okay, look at Walmart. Walmart's still in this downtrending channel. Yes, you can be shorting this one. It's not a very prolific mover, but still in a downtrend. Macy's also. Yep, bearish J-hook pattern in progress. Okay, so that's about all I got for tonight. We just have to be a little bit diligent as far as seeing what they do on the pre-market futures tomorrow. If it opens positive, you definitely want to use or be ready to start closing things out if the markets come back down through today's open, if it opens positive tomorrow, because if it opens positive, it needs to trade positive and stay positive to stay above the T-line. Okay, so with that, are there any general questions before we get into the individual ones? And remember to keep them limited to 2 apiece. Baba, if this is wave 1, which was approximately 28 points, 28 points from around in here takes you up into about the $100, $110 range. The stochastics on here, George, are 12.33. Again, that's not anything set in stone. It's just they've worked very effectively. And the only reason I have 12.33 is I just went back one night and said, all right, what stochastics match the bottom of a price move and what matches the top? And for the type of trading that I do, which is swing trading, 1233 seemed to work pretty well. And then through the years, I've discovered 1233 is good for all trading, whether you're day trading, swing trading, or long-term investing. Would you ignore Friday and Wednesday part day on low? No, you still remember the candlestick signals are the accumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling during a specific time frame. It doesn't matter whether it's a few people trading during that time frame or a lot of people trading that time frame. We're not trading volume, we're trading price. And remember, the price always has a indication of what's going on in investor sentiment with whatever investors are making decisions during that time frame. Oh, I don't know if mine has any particular name to it as far as stochastics on TOS. I don't use those specifically. My first criteria is watching to see what type of signal I'm looking at. Oh, for sure. So, I mean, I wouldn't short this because it was doing an M top. I'd be shorting it because I could see that I saw sell signals at the same level that it resisted before that were probably heading down. The fact that you could later look at it and say, yes, that was an M top, that was what the analysis was. At this point, we were selling because it's showing it was failing at this level, and stochastics starting to roll over on sell signals. Anyways, yeah, the patterns that we use may or may not have the same name as what the Western terminology is. Does candle over candle after 2 consecutive days means they're going higher? Does candle over candle? I don't understand that, MK. Where do you find the symbols for commodity futures? Usually whatever trading service. Now I use Thinkorswim or TOS to do my trading because I can trade all out of one account. I can trade my futures and commodities out of the same account that I trade stock and options. So I don't have to move money back and forth to a commodity account and back to a stock account. It's all in one account. And usually they'll have a drop-down box that you can type in wheat, and then they'll show you what the symbols are. Angelo, we did go through the euro. Right now, the euro, that's just as great. Well, Shazam, how could I just forget the symbol for a euro? DXA, still trade the Decembers. The dollar's still heading up, so I just think the euro's still heading down. Does candle over candle after 2 consecutive days means they are going higher, meaning the close before and the open of the next day are nearly the same? MK, I'm still confused what you're asking. Do both the lines and stochastics have to be in the to be considered overbought? No. Remember, we're not trading stochastics. Because as you can see on the dollar, it's been in the overbought condition now for over a month. We're still trading the candle signals. Now, we're more apt to see a definite sell signal when stochastics are in the oversold or overbought area. And we're more likely going to see a buy signal when we see stochastics in the overbought area. I'm sorry I said that. We're more likely to see a buy signal when the stochastics are in the oversold area. Okay. Does candle over candle. I mean, two dojis. Usually if you start seeing dojis in the oversold area, it's telling you there's indecision and you're probably going to see a change soon. Same scenario when you see dojis in the overbought condition. Probably going to start seeing a change pretty soon. Oh, no, I don't trade the oh, man, oh, man. There it is. Put an R in it. This must be going brain dead here. Right now, I just stay short the euro. BABA, doesn't matter that BABA's not in the overbought condition. BABA's doing a J-hook pattern and still has more room to the upside, so that tells me they have at least enough strength to push it up to test this level, and if they go through, then we know wave 3 is in progress. Okay, I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And then do the second double line. KPTI, all you can do is stay long, as long as it stays above the T line. Remember, there's going to be selling looking days during an uptrend and buying looking days during a downtrend. The important factor is whether they can close below the T line in an uptrend. CSTM, as you can see, after the big breakout move, you're in a 45-degree. Very simple rule. You just stay long until you see a sell signal and a close below the T line. AGU looks like a little slow curve fry pan bottom. You're right at the breakout level. Left-right combo. They couldn't close it below the T line. I'd suspect they're heading for the 200. And Amazon closed right here at the T line. Now, closed just slightly below the T line after kind of a sell signal from Friday. So should we have closed out? The other factor you have to look at is this has been in a long, steady uptrend above the T line most of that time. Give it one more day, but we know what the criteria should be. It has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. Nugget has been bouncing along the bottom here. It's also in kind of a trend channel. You can see you can draw a line straight across the top. I will do that. You draw a line straight across the top and able to draw a parallel line right through the bottoms. It pretty much tells you there's probably a trend channel in progress here. Just start watching for the buying to come in. So that can improves the probabilities of where to buy. Buy on this support. Where's our target? First target, second target. Notice where this one moved back to. On Friday, it hit smack dab off the 50, now doing kind of a Morningstar signal. Another one I'd be buying on positive trading. And the first criteria is we want to see it break through this little downtrending channel. HZNP, It backed off, hit the T-line, bounced back up. Simple analysis, you stay long as it doesn't close below the T-line. ZFGN, same scenario. Stay long. Microsoft, another one that you can stay long right now if you like this. Now, Microsoft doesn't have a whole lot of price movement most of the time. But if you like Microsoft, you can be buying this one. If I was buying this one now, I'd put a buy stop just above today's high. It would tell me that it's breaking out into a new trading range. MCUR has a hard time getting started again. Just not moving. Notice that it closed up here and opened down here. That's not a good sign. You're still kind of in the bobble on this one. ATRA, get a little shooting star. Very simple. If this one opens lower tomorrow, especially if it came back down through today's low, I'd take profits. That's probably got close enough to the 200 to in the 200 area. Now, if it opens lower, anticipate a bobble, just like we saw over here, coming down, testing the T-line. And blue started in the uptrend, and notice what the uptrend did, or the price did today. Came right smack dab to the T-line and bounced back up. All you can do in this one is stay long as it stays above the T-line. ANET, same scenario, just stay long. VRX had a good looking chart. It came back and found the T-line as support. Notice where it opened, practically right on the T-line the other day, came right back up. Now you have a doji sandwich. Now you have a J-hook pattern in progress. AMKR, another good looking chart. I've already got that. Yeah, this one's already, that much probably going to be on the recommended list tomorrow. ANTM, this one you stay short until you see a buy signal. FXC, the Canadian dollar, still in a slow downtrend. Probably with as lethargic as the movement, I wouldn't be long or short this one. And Costco, now you've got that bearish engulfing right at the same level it topped out last week. So the J-hook failed. Now you look for the double top. If this opens lower, I'd suspect it's coming back down to test the 50-day moving average. Let's see, we did HCM. If the low of the candle today at open is the same as the high close of yesterday, if the low of the candle today at the open is the same as the high of the close yesterday, okay, well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a buy signal. It basically means the uptrend is still in progress, or it's confirmed the buy signal. Now I forgot what the question was. Zixi, another bearish engulfing signal. Notice we had a dark cloud, still took it up. Now at this top resistance level, we have a bearish engulfing. This one you definitely close out if it opens lower and starts trading lower tomorrow. And ANFI, just stay long. So you see now in this case, we've had kind of hammers. If they open this lower again, that's telling me the bears are winning. So you had a doji, hanging man. It better open positive and trade positive to tell you the uptrend's still in progress. If it opens lower, that tells you these are sell signals telling you that the bears are starting to take control. AGU, we did this one, I think. Stay long on this one. CELG, this one you can be going short. Bearish J-hook pattern. And how did this downtrend start? With your best friend, Doji Gap down. Nuance. I figured Nuance would be a buyout a long time ago, but right now, notice how it broke through the wedge formation. Stay long as it stays in that 45 degree. Land's End. Big bearish engulfing after a shooting star. Another one that if it opens lower, you can see the downtrending channels remains in progress. Look for it to come to the lower end of that trend channel down in here somewhere. NXPI heading for the expected target. Notice how this uptrend got started. Here's your inverted hammer, bullish confirmation. Inverted hammer, bullish confirmation. At this point, you just see what it does tomorrow. If it opened lower tomorrow, I'd probably close it out and take profits. You can always buy it back if it comes back up through the high or the close of today. That would tell you the profit taking is over and the bulls are still heading up to through the 200. CTRP, nice little Morningstar or J-hook type pattern bouncing off the 20. We could see before the 20 was a consideration with the bullish Harami. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. You trade from a 3-month or a 1-year chart. Grateful, I'm usually just looking at what's happening right here. Doesn't matter whether you make it this big or you make it very small. This is what I'm trading right here. We did Amazon, we did Netflix. Netflix needs to stay above the T line. Let's see, did we do Tesla? Tesla is also looking like it's having a trouble getting through the 200. If this opens lower tomorrow, you're in a bobble, which means they could come back and test the 50 and or the T line, or they both might be at the same level tomorrow. Mac, get ready for a positive open tomorrow. That'd be your doji sandwich. Still heading to test the recent highs, or this level right in here. Morgan Stanley. That was a nice move. Again, usually when the big brokerages are staying strong, the market will stay relatively strong. This one, you can be buying. It's not a very good trader just because of the lack of movement, but you can be buying it. Goldman, still trying to get up through the T line. ILMN, all you can do in this one is stay long. This one I wouldn't be doing anything with. You can see it's in a congestion area. It's trying to support here on the 50, but you would definitely need to see something breaking out through the T line and or the 20 to tell you they're coming back up to the top of the trend channel, which in this case isn't that big a price move. So there's probably a lot better charts out there to be trading at this time. CF, still in a downtrend. I would suspect your upside potential is the 50-day moving average at best. AW can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. It's come up. It's doing the bobble. You can see how the T-line crunch is pushing the price up. I'd be ready to buy this one on a positive open tomorrow. BTL has to stay above the T-line. WD has to open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower, at best you're in a sideways wedge formation. Labu doesn't come up on the screen for some reason. Yamana Gold, that's a good looking chart. You can be buying this one. Just make sure your volume is good. And the Vector Group, doing a gap up doji, you definitely put your sell stop at today's low. If it comes back down through there, that exhaustion today with a gap up is telling you exactly what's happening. You've reached equilibrium. So if I own this one, I'd have a sell stop 1 penny below today's low, because if it comes down through there, more than likely they're at least bringing it back to test the T line. Then you have to see what it does from that point. Oh, Churchill Downs. Very slow, steady uptrend, and that's the key word there, very slow. I would, if you like it for long term, you continue to hold it. Alti, right now looks like you're in a drift ever since your big bearish belt hold dark cloud. I would suspect they're heading for to test the 50. BYD, this one failed to get up significantly above the T line and the 20. I would suspect this is coming back down to test the 50. And AVY, I'd be ready to close this one out on a weaker open, telling us that this top right here is in progress. Notice what's happened. You're up in the overbought condition, and you're seeing a bunch of dojis. They're going to move it in the direction of how they open it after the doji. So if they open this one lower, you want to close it out quick. Texas Instruments, still showing some strength. Wouldn't necessarily be buying it yet, but I'd buy it on the next strong day. XLRN was another one of those that traded weaker most of the day and then finally came back up. Still got the classic on this one. Big fry pan bottom with your dimple, which was a Morningstar signal, J-hook pattern, and then you had your trend kicker telling you more than likely this wave right here will be the same as this wave right here. So still more upside on this one. AERX, nothing there. When you can see something moving sideways, take your money and move on to something else. Not to say that it might not turn out to be good later, but it's at that point you look for the next buy signal. AGU, we did this one, still has a potential going to the 200. The XIV, nothing to get real excited about yet on this one. You need to see which way it's going to break from here, especially after the doji today, right in between the moving averages. Let's see. Bye. Netgear. Did I skip Netgear? Netgear has a nice little scoop pattern. You stay long on this one. Now, if this opens lower tomorrow and you bought it today, you close it out, because that tells you the scoop pattern's disappearing. Now you're back into a sideways mode. What we want to see tomorrow is a positive open, and even at that point, you can still be a buyer of this one with the potential of a doji sandwich breakout. McKesson, not anything wildly exciting, but as long as it stays above the T line, you can stay long. NVDA, stay long on this one as long as it stays above the T line. Can you go short on Amazon? I wouldn't at this point. There's really nothing to tell you it's turning over with any great velocity. I'd still be concerned that you're in a uptrend with just some backing and filling. And SWKS, just stay long on this one. There's your kind of your double bottom. And you can see what happens at the bottom. Got your doji bullish confirmation, doji bullish confirmation, your doji sandwich that broke through this level in the 50. All you can do right now is stay long on this one. Pinnacle, nothing here. At the best, you want to get ready to go short, especially if it comes back down through this level. You can see that you're in a downtrend. So I'd suspect your downtrend is somewhere down in this area. Mixed hammers, okay? Oh, ENTA, nothing here to get excited about. You know you're in a downtrend. I probably wouldn't pay attention to this one until they can at least break this downtrending channel. LCI, get ready to short this one on a lower open with your bearish doji sandwich after the bearish engulfing signal telling you you're probably heading to the bottom of the trend channel down in this area. But the fact they didn't quite get back up to the top of the trend channel when they reversed it tells you there's probably still a lot of force right now to the downside, making this maybe not holding at that level. They could be breaking, ready to break down through that that trend support level. Ross Stores, notice where it kind of turned over, right at the resistance level. If it opens lower tomorrow after today's evening star, expect at least coming back to the T-line. So if it opened lower tomorrow, I'd close it out immediately. Yeah, not a real prolific, but if you like this is the type you're obviously not trading. Something more that you just hold in the account for long term. Berkshire, wouldn't be long or short this one right now, just because it looks like you're in a wedge formation. ZIV. ZIV, yeah, slowly moving up. Again, not anything real wild and exciting to trade. George, you don't want CQG. It's kind of the grandfather of all charting. It's very good, but it's about $1,100 a month. Yeah, somebody pointed out to me one time, just to have charts to illustrate, you're giving up a 1966 Cadillac convertible every year. TC 2000, George, is Warden Brothers. I think there's a link on our homepage that you can go to and click on that, and it will take you right there. And a good place to ask those type of questions, George, is on the chat room during the day. Ask people what they think the best charting service is. Now, I use TCNet, I use Metastock, but all the charting services that usually are hooked up to the brokerage account now have scanning capabilities to them. Okay, be careful. If we wake up and the pre-market futures are down tomorrow, get ready to take some profits and maybe add some short positions to the portfolio. All right. With that, everybody, have a good evening. We'll see you bright and early in the chat rooms tomorrow.